I made the point last week, I think, that it is hard to make a terrible game show.
However, I think we've done it.
I think so.
I think we've done it. And I'd like
bad.
to share with you guys, and indeed the listeners, my stupid game show idea. Now, it's called Crash Course.
Yeah.
It's like a novelty game show. It's very niche.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to have a good host, because that's almost the first thing you see.
Yes.
But, like, outside of the shenanigans of the game show, you need a good host.
Well, who's your host?
My host is Dougie the Pizza Boy from Challenger. Now, listeners, in case you don't know who Dougie the Pizza Boy is, let's listen now to his work from the kids' game show in the 90s, Challenger.
What planet, it's a cosmic question, what planet is supposed to be the home of Martians?
Pluto?
Bad luck, it's actually Mars. I thought you'd know that one.
It's always great to hear one of the legends in action.
He's not that supportive, Dougie, but I don't know. I like his sort of laconic hosting technique.
Yeah.
He's always out of breath delivery.
His indifference to his position.
Pretty much. But I think you need that, because the fact is, this game show I've come up with, Crash Course, it's a very high octane, high energy thing. So you need that apathy that that Dougie the Pizza Boy brings, just to balance it out. So anyway, it goes for a half-hour format. 3 contestants participate in a demolition derby.
Yeah.
And they're each driving similar and expensive cars.
Ooh.
All right,
So like Maseratis, Ferraris.
let's say Aston Martins. whatever.
Bugattis?
Yep, absolutely, whatever. Each round consists of 3 minutes, in which contestants must inflict as much damage as possible upon the competing vehicles. So for 3 minutes, each round, it's just people running into each other.
This is going to be a very expensive show to make.
I think this is why it's not going to get made.
This is problem number 1, okay?
I mean, like, some of these cars are like millions of dollars each.
When the round ends, the damage inflicted upon each vehicle is assessed by Jeremy Clarkson. So there you go.
He's not even the host.
He's not.
He's like the guest expert.
You've got Dougie the Pizza Boy ranking above Jeremy Clarkson. What? That's madness.
Awesome. Yeah, he signed on the dotted line and goes, so who am I working with? Some pizza delivery man? Sure. I'll play second fiddle to Dougie the Pizza Boy. Why not? The contestants are then allocated new cars to the value of the damage sustained by their original cars.
Now that's not a bad
clever idea.
concept. So it just keeps going down and down.
Yeah, thus with each round of the Demolition Derby, contestants find themselves driving more and more inferior cars. The game then repeats over several rounds. The winner is whoever sustains the most cumulative damage over 5 rounds. They are rewarded with the damage costs in cold, hard cash. So the more damage that they receive, or the more damage, the more damage they inflict. Yeah, they actually win that.
It's a lot of money, though, isn't it, Nick?
Again, we return to the problem of
The
finance.
expense. And a lot of those really exclusive cars only ever make a few hundred of them.
That's true. But that brings in the audience. That puts asses on seats, Tom.
Yeah.
I mean, are you gonna sit down on the sofa and watch this? I think you are. If you're gonna see millions of dollars worth of cars destroyed,
Actually, I'd probably tune in for a couple of
yeah, there you
episodes.
go. Yeah, until someone dies, which would be the second problem of many. Because I mean, obviously, there's massive OH&S concerns.
Yeah, these cars weren't designed to be smashed into each other.
No, they weren't. And people weren't designed to be in car crashes either. No. So the runners-up go home with whatever's left of the vehicle they last drove in the derby. So basically dragging a cube behind them.
An inconvenience is what they get.
Basically, yeah. Well, that serves them right for being runners-up. But as you can imagine, this is the kind of show that I think necessitates a commentator, much in the same vein as, like, you know, your Wipeouts and those obstacle course games, Hole in the Wall, even, lest we forget. What a great show that was. So I have some ideas for commentators. First,
Hang on, you've already got Clarkson. He would be
And
a great...
Dougie the Pizza Boy.
No, I need more star power. You don't understand.
Morgan Freeman, is that where you're going with this?
No, I'm not. No, instead I've gone one better. I've gone for the reality hits you hard, bro guy.
Bam! Hit me hard right from the back. I was glued to my seat. I was like, whoa! The wires come down. Boom! And then arc, bam! That fire was coming everywhere. It was arcing, sparking, blowing up. It was like a big rainbow. Boom! And it was coming up. Boom! Boom! Everybody was like, yeah!
But
I can see the show now.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. However, let's say the reality hits you hard, bro guy he has other negotiations, and he can't break free of any other contract he's signed to, and he can't participate in Crash Course, the best new game show on TV. My second preference is a crazy Italian soccer commentator. I trust you'll be able to work out when one team scores a goal.
A sradicare il pallone dai piedi di Diego, ancora Pizarro, eccolo il cross, Perisa, di testa,
Just kept going.
It actually
It's
goes.
sure like his alarm wasn't going off in the background.
It goes for another 10 seconds, I think.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Now, I think we should move on. That's Crash Course.
Okay.
All right.
Tom, your
Okay,
game
this
show.
is my game show called Braille Caesar. Anyone want to take any guesses? Whatever's in this show?
I'm guessing blind people and something to do with the Roman emperor.
Blind people making salad.
There's 3 contestants, a blind emperor, and a host, obviously, who will MC the events. So this is what happens in Braille Caesar. The blind emperor will read a question in Braille and then say the answer out loud. The subject of every question is Roman history. The 3 obviously.
What a niche show this
The
is.
3 contestants then have to guess what the question was.
Do you like Roman history?
For example, the blind emperor may say 23, and the contestant would then say the number of times Caesar was stabbed in his assassination. So questions are worth 2 points each. There are 15 rounds of questions. After 9 questions, the leader, or Caesar, at the moment...
There's already a Braille Caesar, though.
No, he's the emperor. It's a... There's not
I
a
don't
lot
think-
of
I don't think
historical
that was Tony's
accuracy.
point.
There's not a lot of historical accuracy in this show. Can have the option of taking up to 4 points from the second place contestant, which will affect the outcome going into the final round, which is called the Streets of Rome. Now, the Streets of Rome is a dense maze that each contestant must navigate. Whoever has the highest amount of points at the end of the questions is dubbed Caesar.
Yeah.
And he gets to go into the maze first and must...
This is just amazing for adults.
Yeah.
But must reach the steps of Parliament in order to win the game. The other 2 contestants, who came second and third, are sent in, and they must... Their goal is to assassinate Caesar before he reaches
Well, not
the steps
actually.
of Parliament. No, like it'll be a I don't know, a little...
Well thought through. Imagine this being a pitch to a network.
Well, this is where it gets interesting, because
really?
all the contestants are blindfolded and spun around 23 times before they enter the maze.
What chance do they have?
No, they've got a chance. They can find their way to the
Can I
steps
just
of
point
Parliament.
out?
No, they
Can I just point out to listeners? Tom is reading this, and even he doesn't know what the
No,
hell
I'm
he's
trying
saying.
to read it off my phone at the same time. It's quite small. They can find their way to the steps of Parliament by using directions written in Braille on the wall. So they're quite dizzy as well because they've been spun around a lot, and they have to reach the steps of Parliament by finding. Not all of the bits of Braille are actually directions.
Helpful?
Some of them are actually like
good.
facts about Roman life.
That's where you're just like, where am I? So the Roman emperor was begun in...
And didn't you say just before that historically this show is not necessarily accurate?
Oh, parts of it.
Oh, good. It's just this flimsy acquaintance with truth, basically, this
Yeah.
show has.
Yeah, well, it's only Roman history.
It's only Roman
Yeah.
history.
What does it matter? That didn't contribute
It's
to
just a
anything.
game show. It's light entertainment.
Shall we move on to Tony?
Yes, we shall. Mine...
Holy crap, you've just...
What is that?
You've pulled out this giant notebook. This might be the most preparation I've seen Tony do.
This is a very complex show.
This is a very long link. Come
Alright,
on.
so here we... Oh, should we take a break then?
No, let's just get
come
going.
on.
Alright, so my show is called The Truth of the Matter. So we got 12 contestants and a host. And the host reads out questions and the contestants buzz in. And if they get it right, they get $200. But sometimes the host will just lie about whether a question is correct or not. So...
At their discretion?
Yeah, at the host's discretion, he would just go, yeah, that's correct when it's wrong. He'll be like, no, that's wrong when it's really correct. So each contestant has 5 truth points, and if they suspect the host is lying, they can use one of their truth points to get the host to tell the... And then he has to reveal whether he's lying. But the
Okay.
trick is, he can lie doing that as well.
What's the point?
So the contestant has to decide whether they want to use another truth point. So when
This show is never getting made.
So when the contestant wants to use a truth point as well, the host will ask them, how many truth points do you have? And it's up to the contestant to truthfully tell the host how many points they have.
The host will know, won't they?
No, it's not recorded. Now, if another contestant thinks that the contestant is lying about the amount of truth points they have, they can use one of their truth points to challenge the contestant.
So can I just stop you there? All of these possibilities are scenarios that could play out over one question that was asked.
Yes, so if another player thinks that the player is lying about the amount of truth points they have, they can use one of their truth points. Now, if it turns out that player was lying, then he gets the truth point. But if the player professes innocence and then it's proved that the player was lying, he loses all his truth points. But it is very difficult because it's not documented. So proving that is very difficult. So now if a player wants to get more truth points, they do this by asking the host questions. And if the host gets the answer wrong, they get a truth point.
This is not even going to progress past the intro of the show. The host will say, and our contestant is Tony Besselink. Welcome, Tony. How are you?
I'm good.
I'd like to challenge that. I'll use one of my truth points.
No, alright, so but anyway, yeah, if they want to get more points, they ask the host the question. If the host gets it wrong, the player gets a point. Now, of course, the player can just lie about whether the host got the question wrong or not. And
It's a mess.
Worst
It's an absolute mess.
Now, if the host thinks that the player is lying, the host can use one of his truth points on the player to
There's no point in having a host.
to get the
There's
player.
no hierarchy here. There's no one commanding the ship. It's just all a mess.
Alright, so anyway, the idea of the game. Should we go to a break and
No,
come
keep
back?
going. Keep going.
Okay, so the idea of the game is to collect as many truth points as you can. Now, if a player gets more than 10 truth points, they become the host. Now, of course, there can be more than one host, right? So there can be multiple hosts. But if a player goes below 10 truth points, they lose their host status. And this applies to the original host as well. So you can end up in a situation where there is no host and the game just sort of stops there because
Well, everyone just walked out.
it just kind of ends up in limbo. There's no one to ask the questions and then there's nowhere to go. So, yeah, now if... Yeah, so...
No if. There is no show.
Yeah, well,
this
that's
is ridiculous.
So the idea is to become a host. The last person to become a host is eliminated, and that's round one over. And then we
round one. It's round one.
Then we play the next game, the next round, which is the same thing, until there's only one host left. Now, there is a little extra thing which I should point out, which is
The gameplay takes over 8 years.
if you run out of truth points, it doesn't matter because they can go into negative numbers, making it a bit redundant. Now, if you hit minus 10 truth points, you become what is known as an anti-host.
I'm going to have to step in here as actual host of this program.
No, there's only a little bit to go. There's only a little bit.
Really?
So you become anti-host. Now, if there are more anti-hosts than hosts, the anti-hosts become hosts, and the hosts become anti-hosts, and business continues as normal. Except the concept of truth now becomes a lie, and lies are now considered the truth. And that.
So
is-
just to summarise this, nothing in this show has any value whatsoever. At any point, are there any stakes? Does anyone have any position of control? It's just a mess.
So the truth of the matter actually has dire metaphysical ramifications.
Yes.
If you play this game...
Plus the money you get for getting a question right is irrelevant because you're going for truth points anyway.
Listeners,
This game sounds quite malevolent in some way.
listeners, I don't know what you've made of the last 15 minutes, and I assume it is 15, if not 20, we've been rambling on for, but those are our game show ideas, and that was tremendously silly fun. This is something completely different on Sin. Right now it's time for Michael Jackson with Just Good Friends.